Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. Today we've got some more TwilioQuest coming up for you guys, finally. I am sorry it's taken so long. This video has taken way more editing than anything else I've put up in the channel ever. It's taken me quite a few hours, and when you factor in that I work full time, I'm studying and just trying to fit this into my spare time while also, trying to look after my health, look after my wife. I don't have as much time as I'd like, and this little sucker took me a while. That said, I am super stoked to share it with you guys. So you're going to see me in this video get into the JavaScript portions of the game, just the very beginning, but you're going to see me writing my very first pieces of code. So the heads up, I'm pretty tired in the footage you're about to see. It's been a long couple of weeks. I've been pretty run down dealing with some health issues, which I'm trying to get on top of. I was pretty tired, but I was really stoked the next day. I was like, hang on, I actually just wrote my first bit of code. Now, it's super basic. I'm sure there's kids out there in the 3rd grade who can do better. But, as I said at the start of this, I don't have any experience with this. So, within a couple hours of playing the game, I was actually starting to write very basic code. But it's something, and it's exciting to see the game actually so it's a bit late at night and my brain's not working. I can't think of the phrase I'm looking for, but basically sort of coming to fruition, the point of the game is to teach you this stuff, and I'm actually starting to get into it in this point, which is pretty exciting. So I'm excited to share this with you guys. I haven't actually managed to get back to the game in a couple of weeks, so I'm not sure when the next video will come out, but hopefully it will not be as long a wait as it was for this one. Also, I've got a couple of questions from people in these videos that I put up. I will do my best to answer your questions if I can, but just bear with me, and also just understand I don't actually have any resources or information that you don't. I'm just a dude playing a game in his living room in his spare time, but I'm going to try and help you. I know one of my viewers was asking about playing the game in other languages. As I said, I haven't actually got back to the game. Even though this video is coming out and it's new, I haven't actually touched the game since you messaged me. But when I do, I'm going to check out the language settings. I did try to look up online what languages it's available in. I couldn't really find any information. But next time I fire up the game, I'll look into language settings and see if I can find anything helpful for you. Anyone else out there watching this, if you have questions, hit me up in the comments down there. If I can help, I'll help. The whole point of me doing this and sharing this is, some of you guys might care. Might help you guys get excited or motivated to learn what, are probably very useful skills. But anyway, that's enough of me rambling. Let's, you guys have been waiting a couple of weeks. Let's not keep you waiting longer. Let's get into that video. Just quickly, don't forget to hit like and subscribe down there. Yeah, I think down there. Yeah, don't forget to hit like if you're enjoying the content. Hit subscribe if you've been lurking in the channel. Throw me a comment if you want. Help your boy out. And I'll catch you guys in the next video. Thanks for tuning in. All right, we are back. So just double checking. I'm pretty sure I finished off basic training. 76%. What did I miss? Yep. Okay, so there's this that I can't do yet. And there's a little bit more up here in this Twilio section. But I decided that was really boring and I'd come back to it later. But yes, I'm pretty much through basic training. Cool. On to JavaScript, guys. Okay. Twilio scientists are researching ductypium, a recently discovered energy source which is as powerful as it is unstable. Visit the test lab to learn more about the JavaScript programming language and about the research team's experiment. Launch mission. Take it away, Cedric. Ooh, different music. Did you see him? He did a little boop. He's happy to see me.
Operator, I am pleased you have come to observe our work at the JavaScript.
I bet he's pleased I'm watching him.
TwilioQuest scientists are making significant progress unlocking the potential of the JavaScript programming language.
What can I learn about JavaScript at the lab?
Navigating the laboratory will require that you become familiar with the JavaScript programming language. In doing so, you will also install the Node.js JavaScript runtime on your computer, enabling you to write and execute JavaScript code.
Just bear with me as well, please, today, guys. My neck and shoulders are absolutely horrible today. I actually had to cancel plans this afternoon because I was just in so much pain, and it's just making me so tired and cranky. So if I'm like shifting around and moving my neck and head and shoulders and arms a lot, that's what's up. But yeah, wanted to make use of the time that I had free since I had to cancel my plans and do some learning, do some recording, something to share with you all. So what sort of research is conducted here?
Presently, our research team is studying the energy-producing properties of duct-IPM, a newly discovered element that we believe is the source of JavaScript's power. Proceed through the security barriers on the right to examine our research data yourself.
Cool. Cool chest over here. Learn the origin story of JavaScript, the lingua franca of software development. What does lingua franca mean? Can we just like use normal words that normal people understand? Let's do this. Like the English language for humans, JavaScript is one of the most common programming languages in the world. It's a bit Anglo-centric, isn't it? Anyway, moving on. Let's not get political. Click the Show Help button for more information on why we think JavaScript is a great choice for your first, maybe only, programming language. After you're finished, answer the questions on the right to receive an award for your first steps into the world of JavaScript. That's cool. I like learning stuff. Even those that love JavaScript, such as your friends on Team TwilioQuest, know how weird it can be. So there are links here, but we're not going to open them. You guys won't be able to see them anyway. Despite all its charm, JavaScript has become the lingua franca of software development. I assume there's some sarcasm there, but it's above my head. Probably something to do with it being like messy and having lots of variants and being confusing and complicated and opaque. Maybe, if I had to hazard a guess. Can't be that hard though. My sister learnt it when she was a teenager. Read on to learn more about the origin of JavaScript and why it might be the only programming language you ever need to learn. Like Gen Z, it was born on the web. Okay, no one was born on the web. You know, that requires a womb. Requires at least some sort of okay, yep, doesn't necessarily, you know, require like 2 human bodies anymore, but no one's born on the web. Most likely you were born on a hospital bed. Not necessarily, but most likely. Bothers me. Like I said, I'm cranky today. I'm cranky and I'm easily irritated. In 1995, JavaScript began its life as the programming language of the web browser. Before JavaScript, web pages were pretty lifeless once your browser fetched and displayed them on your computer screen. With JavaScript, website creators could make their web pages more interactive and dynamic. The web apps you love today, like Gmail, Slack, and Twitch, have been built using JavaScript. That's dope. Like hot sauce, it's great on everything. You might be aware that the browsing the internet has become relatively popular. Wow, what a great sentence. That the browsing the internet has become relatively popular. That has made JavaScript, the programming language of the web browser, an essential tool for any programmer that needs to write code for users on the internet. The success of the web, more than the beauty of the language, made JavaScript a programming language that a huge number of software developers share in common. Today JavaScript runs everywhere, not just in the web browser. You can make games with Phaser, build an iPhone app with React Native, create a backend workhorse with Node.js, or even control a Misty 2 robot like your buddy Cedric. If you know how to write JavaScript, you can program just about anything. If you only learn one programming language, JavaScript's a pretty solid choice, though we hope you go on to learn many programming languages besides. Essential JavaScript resources for your bookmark bar. Here are a few resources that are great to keep handy as you begin your journey as a JavaScript developer. MDN JavaScript reference. Mozilla, elder statesperson of the web and the organization behind the Firefox web browser, provides this excellent reference document for JavaScript on the Mozilla Developer Network website. Easily the favorite JavaScript reference docs of Team TwilioQuest. Eloquent JavaScript, a free online book covering the core features of the JavaScript programming languages. Ooh, there's a hair on my mic. Cat hair, no doubt. JavaScript for cats. A fun, quick introduction to the language, even if you are not a cat, speaking of which. So, True or false? JavaScript can be used to program mobile apps, games, websites, and robots. True. JavaScript started out as a programming language for web browsers. Web Bowsers, Mario's old online nemesis. The TwilioQuest team's favorite JavaScript reference documentation is found on the Mozilla Developer Network website. Got it. Hack. Success. 100 XP. Boom. You got it. What's in the bookshelf? A lot of classics in here. You Don't Know JS, JavaScript, the good parts, and a bunch more. You don't know JS. That's a dirty joke. The JavaScript test lab requires all personnel to have a Node.js JavaScript runtime installed before proceeding into the lab. Install Node.js in this challenge. Let's do it! Before entering the lab, you must undergo standard security screening. To bypass this test, you must prove that you have the necessary software installed to execute JavaScript programs from the terminal application on your computer. Download and install the most recent release of Node.js on your computer. After doing so, your terminal application, PowerShell or terminal, etc., should have access to a new command, node. Paste in the full path where the node command was installed on your computer. See the help section if you aren't sure where to find that information. Paste the path into the text field on the right, then click the hack button. So basically, we just download our JavaScript node so that we can complete the other challenges in it. So I'm going to pause here and we'll be back in a moment, but very little, if any, time should pass for my lovely viewers. And I am back, and we have progressed the quest. I've also had a shower, greeted my wife who just got home, changed my clothes, responded to an email from my college, contacted my employer, and a few other things. What have you guys done? Oh, just sat there as if only a moment had passed. That's why you're not getting ahead in life, just saying. Anyway, we've downed that barrier. Let's move on. Lab personnel are expected to create a folder on their computer where all their JavaScript code will reside. Create such a folder in this challenge. Let's do it! Several activities inside the lab will require that you create JavaScript code files on your computer. The next screening checkpoint is set up to confirm that you have a folder on your computer's file system where you can keep all of these files. Create a folder on your computer to keep your JavaScript code. Once you've done so, enter the full path to your folder in the text field on the right and click the hack button. Let's show help. Yep, so create a folder. Use your OS as okay, so you can just use the graphical interface on your OS. And on both Mac and in PowerShell on Windows, you can create a workspace folder with the following commands. Type each command into the terminal one line at a time. Press enter after every line to execute the command. The text after the hash signs below are not part of the commands. They're just there to explain the command that came before. The last command, pwd, should print the full path you need to complete this objective. Rad, let's jump in and do it. Again, there will be a brief pause. We've done it. So I opted to do that through PowerShell just so I can get some practice using that. It's the commands that they gave you there under help are actually quite similar to some of the basic commands for Linux-based systems, which I have had to dabble in ever so slightly for a short course that I did previously. So anyway, that be done. Environment variables unlocked JavaScript workspace path. So we're not going to view in settings because that will show all you guys a whole bunch of information about me that y'all don't need to see. We are going to click done. We're into the lab. Ooh, blonde Cedric. TwilioQuest scientist. Oh, hi there. You must be the operator sent to observe our research. You've come at an exciting time. We're moments away from stabilizing a single molecule of ductypium for the first time in history. Though there is currently a small, almost insignificant snag in the testing process. I wish they'd done a voice for this character. Ruh-roh. What happened? Oh, it's nothing really. It's just we need to activate all 4 of the molecular stasis beams in the center of the room to stabilize the ductypium. The process is fully automated, but it does require a password, which I Don't currently remember. Oh, is there any way to reset the password? Should have used a password manager. There is, but I'll never hear the end of it around the lab if word gets out that I forgot the stasis beam password again. Actually wrote it down on a piece of paper in my office down the passage. Fire this person. Passage behind me. But you're still standing out here, so might I assume... Okay, so I maybe also managed to trigger all the security barriers leading to my office when I went in to retrieve the password. Don't judge me, I'm a very busy scientist. You're not judging me, are you? No, of course not. We all make mistakes. Thank you. You know, I've heard operators are pretty good at solving problems like this. Do you think you could get into my office and retrieve the password? I'd owe you big time. You bet. I'll see what I can do. You're a lifesaver. Once you get past the security barriers behind me, the password for the stasis beam is written on a piece of paper on my desk. Which I assume I need to enter here. Yep, okay, that's what that is. Dope. Is there anything else cool I can see? No. What do these ones mean again? I don't know. Okay. Placate a low-level bureaucrat and execute your first JavaScript program to bypass this barrier. A low-level bureaucrat? Create a program as described in the objective, then click hack. Let's do this. You examine the barrier and determine that it can only be unlocked by the JavaScript Lab's IT department. You call up IT and speak with a technician named Glenn. Glenn reluctantly agrees to deactivate the barrier on one condition. You must ask him nicely. I really thought I brought some mints in with me. I need some minty freshness. To continue, you must write a JavaScript program that, nicely, asks Glenn to open the barrier. Create a new JavaScript file named sayplease.js in the folder you created earlier. For reference, it was... Okay, so I'm going to need to edit this again, because it's showing you stuff that you won't need to see. Inside sayplease.js, copy in the following line of JavaScript code. Console.log, Glenn, will you please open the barrier? Once you've written and tested code that will print this friendly request, click the hack button. Hopefully Glenn will find your request acceptable. To-do list, create a file called sayplease.js, add a line of code to print a friendly request, see below, and hack when finished. Okay, there'll be a brief pause, and we'll be right back. Oh, hey there. So, wow, the lag on my webcam is pretty epic right now. I'm sorry about that, guys. I don't know what to do about it. Okay, seems to have caught up to real time. So the only thing you've missed there, obviously I've like closed down and brought up some other like programs to complete the quest. In the show help section there, which I didn't show you guys, they had like very detailed step-by-step instructions on how and where to create the file type, how you go about editing it, and gave us the basic code that we needed to enter. So that was a pretty simple follow directions and copy-paste situation. And then you just need to enter the directory into the hacking console and hit hack to get through. But yeah, in the show help feed, it will automatically show some stuff about the directories and stuff on your computer. So yeah, I'm going to be trying to edit out a bunch of that stuff. But yeah, basically, if you were to be playing this at home, it would give you all the instructions that you need to do that. But the other concern as well is that watching me jump between different screens and type stuff and copy paste code and stuff isn't particularly compelling viewing and doesn't really help you guys get a feel for what the actual game part of the game is like, and also like what's the point. The whole point of the game is to learn as you go, so obviously like there's no value in watching me follow their instructions and solve their puzzles. The value is in you doing that yourself if you're interested in it, and my aim here is to just sort of like show you what the actual game part of the game is like, and then I'll do some wrap-ups as I'm progressing through the game and reflect on like, you know, what I've learned and what I'm able to do, etc, etc. But yeah, I mean, I'll also like sort of talk you through things as they go, like, you know, as I just did here, like there are instructions I copy pasted, and then, you know, as I get to points where I'm actually doing stuff on my own, I'll feel if I can't directly show you guys what I'm doing for whatever reasons, either because I have to like open up other programs or because it like goes through and gives away information on like directories and the setup on my computer, or just other stuff that's either like boring, chaotic, and difficult to edit and put together into a cohesive and watchable piece of content, or just a little too gives away a little bit too much information. In any of those cases, I'm not going to be showing it to you. So just a heads up, that's what you guys should expect. But as much as possible, outside of those sorts of scenarios, I will be sharing as much of the game with you as I can. I just thought it would be good to actually articulate that to you guys. So done. A little bit more XP. We're through a thing here. What's in this bookshelf? Lots of different past experiment notebooks in here. Mutations, transformations, prototypes, and more stuff. Do love some stuff. Learn to declare variables in JavaScript as you bypass the next barrier. You encounter another barrier blocking access to the lead scientist's office. After some investigation, you find out that it is configured with JavaScript code that locks the laser fence in the on position. To drop the barrier, you'll need to override this configuration with your own JavaScript code. So create a file called laserconfiguration.js in your code folder. Inside this file, declare a variable with the name laserStatus and set it to the string value off. So those blue hyperlinks lead to, in this case, a Wikipedia entry on what the word variable means in this context, and string. The string object is used to represent and manipulate a sequence of characters. This is MDN Web Docs, which is one of the websites they recommended a little bit earlier in the game. So yeah, it just explains what the terms mean. Once you've done this, you can click the hack button to check your work and override the laser setting for this security barrier. So, to-do list. Create a file called laserconfiguration.js, declare a variable named laserStatus set to the string off, and hack when finished. So this can honestly be as simple as just opening the default notepad that ships with Windows, or just whatever default text editor you have. I'm actually really curious, would this work with Microsoft Word? I've never seen something like this done in Word, but I have seen it done in like Notepad, WordPad. But yeah, you can just like, for example, open Notepad on a Windows machine and create a file and just save it with that extension and enter the instructions, and your JavaScript node can read it off the Notepad document. You don't necessarily need specialist software, although they did recommend a particular text editor that is designed for coding programming stuff and has some nice out-of-the-box features without being like too big and clunky and like difficult to download, or and is also free. So they do recommend that in the previous exercise in the show help thing that I didn't show you guys. Okay, so let's fire up Notepad and get this done. But first, let's check the show help. Sorry, I just needed to Alt-Tab into OBS and make sure everything's working properly for a second. So the goal of this exercise is to practice creating variables in your JavaScript code. Variables contain different types of data that your program can work with, like numbers, text, and more complex data. You can then refer to your data by name in your code using the variable names you created. To complete this objective, you'll need to create a file called laserconfiguration.js in your code folder. Your code folder is located here. So again, there's just a little piece of information here I'm going to have to edit out. So there'll be like some, there'll be some blank space on the screen. But yeah, that's what's up. In this file, declare a variable with the name and value described in the objective. Here is an example of creating a variable of a different name and value. You can use this as a starting point, but it will fail validation if you just copy-paste. Constant favorite robot equals Cedric console.log. My favorite robot is plus favorite robot. So this is a little code that will print out, that will give the output my favorite robot is Cedric. Once you've declared a variable as directed in the objective tab, click the hack button. Okay, so I think in this example, favorite robot is the variable in question, and entering this console command seems to be, my favorite robot is, and refer to that. Once you've declared a variable as directed in the objective, click the hack button. Okay. So I need to create a file, declare a variable named laser status, set to the string off. So is const how I declare a variable? Because I assume const is short for constant. Okay, so I'm going to open this up, declaring variables in JavaScript, and get the cheat sheet. That's what I'm going to do. So on the MDN website, it's telling me JavaScript has 3 kinds of variable declarations. var declares a variable, optionally initializing it to a value. Let declares a block-scoped local variable, optionally initializing it to a variable. And const declares a block-scoped read-only named constant. I don't know what any of that means. So declaring variables, you can declare them in 2 ways with the keyword var. For example, var x equals 42. This syntax can be used to declare both local and global variables depending on the execution context. I hope you all get the joke with 42 there. With the keyword const or let, for example, let y equal 13. This syntax can be used to declare a block scope local variable. So much jargon. You can declare variables to unpack values from object literals. Okay, look, this is not helping me, and I don't think it's going to help you. I think what I need to do is type in var laser status equals off and save it under that file name. So I'm going to try that, and we'll be back in a second to check the results. Okay, the moment of truth. There's an error executing your JavaScript code. Please ensure that you can run it from the command line successfully and try again. Here's the error we got. Reference error, off is not defined. Okay. So I need to check how to set a string value. Okay, I'm going to dig into this a little bit further. Okay, I think I may have cracked it. Yes! So, I actually wrote it out properly the first time. The only thing is I didn't put little... Double ones are speech marks. The single little... I know the word and I'm just going blank. But the single version of the speech marks around off, so that the program knew that was a thingy. Yeah, I word good. It's been a long day, guys. As I said, I'm struggling today. Yeah, my England good. Yeah, but basically because I didn't have the appropriate, basically because I didn't use the appropriate syntax, I think the thing was not able to understand that off was a value and not just an incomplete succession of characters. So, lasers turned off. Thank you. We learned a thing. I couldn't figure out, I was reading and rereading and going onto the different websites and whatnot and trying to figure out what was going on, and I could not. Hey, I'm rank E. In case anyone's following that, I don't know what that means. But then I just noticed on one of the pages I was reading that they put those little marks around what they were trying to define. So I thought I'd give that a shot, and it worked. Let's check out this chest. Practice declaring variables using multiple JavaScript data types to unlock this chest. Let's do it. You notice a chest with supplies intended for operators in the TwilioQuest program, like this guy. It should be freely accessible, but it's currently locked down. To access these supplies, you can employ the configuration override method you used earlier. Create a file called chestconfiguration.js in your code folder. Inside this file, declare the following variables to override the security settings for this chest. Variable names: verified user, a boolean value true, access level, a number value of 7, favorite robot, a string value set to Cedric. You might remember that little line from the previous. hack console screen. All right, I'm going to open this chest. I'm going to get to that piece of paper with the password, and I'm calling it a day. My brain is clearly shutting down. Although I am starting to get the hang of some of the things that I'm doing here, but my ability to communicate it to you, my dear viewer, is quickly going down the toilet. So let's see if I can do this without having to look up some cheat sheets. So I'm just going to look up the meaning of the word Boolean. I've come across it before and I just can't remember. Object wrapper for a Boolean value. Okay, this is just opening up a whole bunch of jargon on a screen that I don't understand. I'm just going to jump in and see if I can do this. So let's smash that pause button on the record. Actually, you know what? You can follow along. You can follow along, even though you can't see what I'm doing. So I'm just opening up a new document in Notepad. So it's going to be chestconfiguration.js. So let verified user equal I've got so many things open trying to do this. Each time I press Alt-Tab, I open up the wrong thing. Let access level equals 7. Oh, let favorite robots misspelled. Favorite has a U in it. I don't care what you think. Okay, so I'm going to do this in the most basic way I possibly can without looking up any new instructions. I'm just going to see if the little piece of syntax, grammar, little string of instructions I learned in the previous exercise, if I can just use it exactly the same for this, but obviously changing the relevant information. So we are saving, and we're hitting hack. Failed. Okay, true is not defined. Okay, so I actually tried to get a little bit fancy with true. So let's save again. Okay, failed. We found your access level variable, but it wasn't a number object as we expected. It looks like it's actually a string object. It seems like you accidentally made this variable a string. Values like numbers and booleans don't have quotes around them in your code. Check the help section for an example of declaring number section variables. Okay, I think I get it. So, you know, I said I had to put the little quotey things. So, it seems like I don't need to do that for the Boolean true false variable or a number variable. Like, it just knows that 7 is a number 7 means 7. Whereas if I put the speech marks around it, if I understand correctly, someone out there, if you're watching this and you know more than me, tell me if I'm wrong. But my current understanding is if I do the little marks around it, it thinks it just needs to display the number 7, not use the number 7 as the value for whatever it's trying to do. And same with true false, rather than seeing that it's a boolean, whatever the hell that means, rather than seeing that it's a state of being true or being false, it thinks it's just a word true. Maybe. So I'm gonna edit, I'm gonna save this again, and I guess if it works. Oh, why is everything highlighted? If it works, I'm correct. No, it failed. True is not defined. Okay. Can run off there. Okay, let's see. Another simple change I think I may need to make here. Okay, no, that didn't work. Okay, I need to do a little bit of reading, so I'm going to smash the... I did it, guys. I did it. I had true written in capitals and it needed to be in lowercase. That was the problem. Ugh. Okay, 100 XP earned. I didn't get any supplies. It just gave me experience. Yeah, I have nothing new. It's terribly disappointing. It's terribly disappointing. Oh well. Okay, we're almost there. One more challenge. Write code that uses data passed in via command line arguments. This sounds complicated. Beyond this barrier, you can see a stack of papers on the lead scientist's desk that must contain the password you are searching for. You're close to the key piece of information you need to help the scientists continue their duck-typium experiments. This is a digital security nightmare, this quest. I'm horrified. You quickly find the malfunction that has caused this barrier to remain closed. A script is missing that performs a key mathematical calculation. Create a file called divideby2.js in your code folder. Unlike other scripts you've written, this one must take a command line argument when you execute it, like this. Node divideby2.js 48. The script should take the number passed in, divide it by 2, then print the result using console.log. This is a bit harder, so we have some example code you can use as a starting point in the help section if you need it. Once your code is ready, click the hack button to override the laser command function. So let's go to help. The goal of this objective is to familiarize you with the concept of command line arguments. This is data that is passed into your JavaScript code when it is executed to give it some context when it runs. So far you've been running your test scripts with a command that looks like this, node sumprogram.js. Then your code runs executing the instructions that you've written. However, it's frequently useful to pass some initial data into a program that you've written. We call this initial data arguments. To execute a script with arguments, you can type in additional text after the name of your code file, separated by spaces. Here's an example of executing a script with 3 arguments. Node sumprogram.js, argument 1, another argument, all one word, no quotes. You can process these arguments in your code using a special list named process.argv. In this objective, you've been asked to write a program that works with the command line argument. This is a bit tricky at first, so here's the code you'll need as a starting point. The line of code below reads in the value of the argument passed in after the name of your script. Const argument value equals process.argv. The next line of code converts the argument to a numeric value. Const number value equals number argument value. Then this third line of code divides the input number by 2 and stores the result in a variable named result. Result equals number value divided by 2. You need to finish the line of code below. How would you print out the result to the terminal window without hard coding the number 42? Oh, hang on guys. Alright, I did it! So the answer... how would you print out the result to the terminal window without hard coding the number 42 is, so you need to do console.log and in these brackets result, because result is the variable that we set to equal number value divided by 2, and number value we set to equal number and then perform argument value being this process. I don't know what all of this means. But and I actually did do a little bit of trial and error to like try and make sense of the logic of it. But my understanding of the logic of it is that when I enter node divide by 2.js 400, so I needed to set this thing in parentheses to represent the variable that we have told it to be whatever the argument was, divide by 2. So here. Result. So result equals number value divided by 2. So we need this to say result so that the instruction is to display the variable called result, which is what happens when it goes through this process. Yeah, I think I just said the same thing and circled back to it a couple of times. I think I just, yeah, circle talked. Fantastic, but hopefully you guys kind of understand what I'm saying. I only half understand what I did, so I can't explain it or articulate it very well. But yeah, that's my understanding. I need to change this to be the variable that is the result of running this process on it, I think. Yeah. So let's see if it's worked. Success! You replace the missing division script and the lasers fade away. Go grab the laser password from the scientist's desk. Okay, I'll do that. Written on a sticky note on her desk. Stasis beam password. Pew pew pew! Well, that was fun. I've already done this. Is there anything else I can do in here? I guess not. Okay, let's come down here, talk to this lady. You found the stasis beam password. You're the best. It's like our Princess Peach. I'm the best. It seems only fitting that you do the honors and restart our big experiment. Head over to the beam controls in the center of the room and use the password there. I'm so excited. I just know we're going to uncover the big bang moment of JavaScript. I understand that this is an important project. How did you end up doing this kind of research? It's definitely not what I imagined I'd be doing after a PhD in molecular biology, and I can tell you it's nowhere near as lucrative as the offers I received from pharmaceutical companies. But I've never been able to resist the chance to solve a mystery. When the TwilioQuest program recruited me to study a previously unknown substance, how could I refuse? Well, they're lucky to have you. Am I flirting? You're not wrong there, wink. I think we're flirting. And I don't mind saying, we're lucky to have your help as well. Let's get back to it, shall we? Yeah, I'm role-playing a really lonely little pixel man. That's my cover. Okay, enter the password. Pew pew pew. Yeah, that is a little cheat sheet for anyone watching at home, but if you want to do yourself the disservice of just skipping ahead, by all means, go ahead. Ooh. Ah, I forgot to put in the exclamation mark. I failed. Success, the stasis beam flashes to life and the experiment begins. Wait, what's that rumbling noise? Everything's on fire. Fantastic. Fan-bloody-tastic. Reverse the experiment. The previous attempt to stabilize the ductopium ended in disaster. Now you must get all 4 stabilizer beams back online and reverse the experiment. Okay, I think this is where we call it a wrap for now. Thanks for tuning in, guys. You've been brilliant. I'll catch you all in the next one.